Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us. Hey guys, what's going on? Good morning. It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another episode of The Public Affair. I say good morning. I normally shoot this show like at nighttime, right? Like after the daily, functions or whatever. But now it's 8 a.m, and I'm so excited. I actually really like recording this early. I haven't recorded this early in years, but I'm happy to be doing it today. But listen, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I've got a really, really fun episode here. Now, before we continue, I want to thank Mike with Rogue Media Network, who's here this early in the morning. I didn't have a hard time getting out of bed, Mike. I don't know about you, but I did not have a hard time getting out of bed. And then to all of you who are tuned in, thank you guys again so much. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by David Santabanez with Linear Real Estate. He is the #1 sales agent in his office. That's why he's going to help you buy a home, sell your property. If you guys don't know what you're doing, he's going to walk you through everything step by step. Make sure you follow him on Facebook at David Linear. Just call the number on the screen. Get started now. It's never too late to get started. Se habla español también to my boy David Santabanez. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, at Armstrong's Bayou Cafe with Anika Armstrong, serving the most authentic Cajun cuisine with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. Listen, if you don't like seafood and you just want to get a pasta, I recommend every single pasta that they have. Locations at Union Hall and at Union Grove in Woodway as well, closer to my house. So that way I can just go there all the time. All right, follow at Armstrong's Bayou Cafe Corporation on social media to Armstrong's Bayou Cafe. Anika Armstrong, thank you so much for all you do for me and The Public Affair. I truly appreciate you. Of course, it's Manny Guerrero at Blue Star RV Services, a mobile RV tech who can fix all RVs. I'm talking about travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, food trucks, and so much more. He deals with the warranty companies just in case you're still under warranty, so you don't have to deal with all that. Pay him and his team their small service fee. They're going to come out and get you right, get you taken care of. Follow on Facebook, call the number on the screen of Blue Star RV Services. Save their number. Just save their number. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, I'm not going to go on without thanking Soko Soccer Academy with Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez, located at 3304 Franklin Avenue. That's right. They're offering team, small group, and individual skills training. Also, really ideal for daycare services as well. They also provide elite skills training to make your kids superb star athletes with professionals like George De Leon. The Public Affair also remains a very proud sponsor of the Soko soccer teams, coached by my very best friend, Coach Mauro Maldonado. Thank you so much for that opportunity and letting me do that and support you and the kids and your team of coaches. Truly appreciate you, Soko Soccer Academy. Thank you guys so much for all your support for the Public Affair. I truly, truly appreciate you. You like that, right?
That was really good and fast.
I told you, I'm a morning person, okay? Listen, you guys, this episode has been long overdue. And I know that the minute I was telling some of my peers, especially my two brothers, that I was having this guy on the show, they completely lost their shit, right? And I had to know why, right? I need to know what the impact that this man put in my peers' lives that stuck with them. We're in our 30s now. They were teenagers or younger when they met you. Listen, he's an icon. He's a legend. And he's been the moment in many of y'all's lives for many years. Okay, I've got Sean Sutcliffe here on The Public Affair. How you doing?
I'm well, yes sir.
It's Sutcliffe, right? Or is it Sutcliffe? Don't let me say it wrong. If I said it wrong, you can punch me in the face.
Sutcliffe.
It's Sutcliffe. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
No, you know what I thought was really awesome was when I invited you, you were so concerned about being boring. I said, I just want you to be you though. You don't have to be excited.
Which is why I'm concerned about
No. I just want you to be yourself. Okay. It doesn't matter. I really wanted to invite you on the show because again, we did meet a few years ago at Soko. At Soko. Right. And I remember you saying that you watched the show. And then I told you I would invite you on and then we just lost contact. I don't know. That's probably my fault. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. Soko kind of helped save my mental health during COVID, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because I was able to go there and see people I wouldn't have seen otherwise. Yeah, and totally. So that was very helpful. And I think life just got busy after that.
Life got busy. The show blew up more than I thought it was going to.
That's a good thing.
Yes, but then I missed the opportunity to have you on the show 100 times. Literally 100 times.
So
I appreciate you coming on this later. And, like I said, we did meet. You were very kind. And I just remember everybody, really saying nothing but the highest praises about you. Two of my best friends, who I call my brothers, Mauro Maldonado and Jaime Gutierrez, who I did not know until last night knew who you were too. And they were just like ecstatic when I told them that you were going to be on the show. And I was like, don't tell me too much. I'm going to fish it all out from him. Okay. And they're like, he might be a little bit more reserved. I was like, doesn't matter. Like, I just, I like diversity, Sean. So thank you again. I appreciate it. So listen, can you just, I'm pretty sure everybody watching this episode, right, knows who you are. But for the people who don't know who you are, can you just introduce yourself to us? Talk a little bit about your life growing up and such, please. Sure.
I'm from here. I was born here 50 years ago, July 28th, 1973.
50? You look like you're 21. Stop.
Well, I appreciate it. It's interesting. My sister just turned 53. And we've discussed this before. When we were young, your age or even younger, you think about people in their 50s or 50, like, dang, that sounds old. Yeah. But now that we're here, it's like,
it's not that bad?
No, it really is.
Because I'm 32 and I feel rickety.
No,
mentally, I stopped counting after 21, numerically speaking.
The hardest change for me was 19 to 20. For some reason, going out of teens to 20 bothered me, but everything since then has been nothing. So it doesn't help, or maybe it helps that some days I act my shoe size more than my age. So.
12s? I've been 12.
9.5.
Oh, come on. You guys in your small feet. And life for you growing up, what was that like for you, Sean? Are you from here?
From here. Spent my whole life here. Grew up in North Waco. Was born, in fact, from where I'm sitting, I can see, as we were discussing a little bit ago, the old Hillcrest Medical Tower, now the PD.
Yeah.
And I was born in Hillcrest, grew up down the street from it. And then we moved further up, closer to the lake.
Okay.
And went to private schools pretty much from third grade on. Went to MCC fresh out of high school. Went to Baylor after that.
Okay.
Something I didn't plan to do, but Mom was working there, so free tuition, you can't turn that down.
You can't turn that down, yeah.
Started working at the public library in December of '94, so I've been there 29 years.
Yeah, sure.
And then started volunteering at University High School in my last semester at Baylor in the fall of '96.
Okay, got you. Sure. So what, you mentioned you have a sister. Do you have other siblings as well? It's just you two?
It's just the two of us. Yeah. I tell people that my parents stopped with me because they knew they'd reach perfection. That's usually the reaction I get. So.
Oh, I said the same thing. The reason why God didn't give me green eyes like my dad's side of the family has is because then I would be perfect. That's why God gave me these eyebrows, Sean, so it's all good.
Now, you know what they say about people with brown eyes.
What do they say that?
They're full of it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Are you saying that I'm full of it?
No, I am.
Oh, you are. Well, then we both have brown eyes, so we're both full of ourselves. There you go. What was your family dynamic like? Would you say that you guys got along pretty well, or would you say that you were a little bit whatever?
No, I think we're fine. I don't know what the normal family is, but Dad worked.
Yeah.
He was in sales.
Sure.
Traveled. Some traveled. Some was here.
Yeah.
In fact, his random information. His last job before he retired was with LL Sam's, which is no longer here.
Got you.
It's Lofts now.
Oh, okay.
But that was where his dad first worked when they moved here in 1949. Mom either taught or was a librarian. And so, my parents mostly worked, but it worked fine. And
yeah. You are a local librarian as well, correct? You work at the library. And I was saying before the camera started, I guess we were on camera before the show started, that I really appreciate your extensive vocabulary because I try to have an extensive vocabulary too, and everybody gets mad at me, and I especially use it to make people mad.
Oh, yeah.
Do you do the same thing, Sean?
No, I'm not that smart. Smart enough to plan ahead like that.
No, you're not? You don't get witty like that and just...
If I do, it may just be hopefully to make someone laugh.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah.
No, I do it to really piss people off.
Oh, I got you.
As a matter of fact, Coach Morrow, who we were just referencing, he just won an empowerment award, and I made sure in the speech that I used big words because I knew it'd bother him.
Did it work?
I don't know. Okay. He said the speech was good, but he's always like, don't use big words, and I'm like, no, whatever. That's just what I do. And then when I really want to make somebody mad, like on my regular job, I use big words like in emails and stuff, just to piss them off. Yeah. It's good. It makes people feel this small. Listen, okay, so like I said earlier, you guys, Sean has been super, super involved, and with my peers, and when I say my peers, for some reason, the public affair has gotten me heavily involved in soccer as well. I don't know how that happened. That just happened. I was hoping I'd have a man by now. That's not the case. Right. And so, I wonder, you mentioned earlier that during COVID, because I would say SoCo opened close to that, because that's when I started the show, and that's how I met them as well. And so you mentioned that it saved your mental health. Okay, can we dive a little bit into that? And so when COVID happened, were you just not working, or like what was it about going to somewhere like SoCo that made you sane?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm sane, but what helped, when that happened, the library was closed to the public. I want to say for 3 months.
Sure.
We were still working. And we were able to get, had lots of projects and things we could work on. So it was a very productive time. But when you work with the public and you sign up to work with the public, that gets a little old after a while, because then you're missing the whole reason you do something.
Gotcha.
But so, lots of things had shut down.
Yeah.
And I'd go walking, and I did before, and I still do now. I'd go walking like down at Baylor Stadium or various places just to get out and exercise.
Yes.
But being able to go to SoCo connected me with people who I was not otherwise seeing, because during that, I guess you could say the rest of 2020, I guess it was,
Right.
and then that following school year, volunteers were not allowed in schools, understandably.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so I didn't have contact with a lot of people I would normally have contact. And in fact, for that matter, we only had online church, which just doesn't do it for me. I need to be at church in person.
Right. I got you.
And so being able to reconnect with some people through SoCo was very helpful to me. And it's not that I'm a social person.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm content to stay home and read as much as anything,
Sure.
but I still need that human contact.
Absolutely.
And that really helped me to see people and interact with people. You know, I knew Dominic when he was in high school.
Yes. Shout out to him. He made me lose 100 pounds.
Well, good for him.
Him and
See?
Monica. Shout out to both of them.
So yeah, that's why I say it helped my mental health. Just a variety of little things, keeping contact with people.
Absolutely, yeah.
Not just through the library, but through other social activities.
I got you. Now, you know, like I mentioned, you know, as far as the soccer community, were you into soccer when you were growing up? Was that your thing, or when did that all start?
I was not. My whole life is a fluke, I guess, in certain ways. And I made a comment to you when we were messaging the other day. You know, we know that certain decisions you make can have very significant consequences, be they good or bad.
Absolutely.
And so I alluded to a decision I made when I was 14 that I was just like no big deal at the time. I had no clue what would happen of it. But in high school, I went to Vanguard through 6th through 12th grade.
Sure.
And we had to have 2 years of foreign language, but we could take all 4.
Okay.
And it was Spanish, French, and German.
Right.
And I chose Spanish. Why, I don't know. And I decided to take 4 years.
Yeah.
Why, I don't know.
Okay.
This is probably more information than anyone really cares to know.
We do care. Please tell us. Yes.
Okay.
That's why you're here.
So I had the 4 years in high school.
Okay.
And, you know, youth is wasted on the young. I don't know if you ever heard that expression.
No, I haven't.
It's 100% true.
Okay.
My Spanish teacher in 11th and 12th grade, maybe even some of 10th grade, was Miss Diddy, Diddie, Dorothy Diddy. And her husband died and she remarried, but she was a wonderful teacher, well organized. She was just a wonderful Christian woman. And I didn't adequately appreciate what a great teacher. But anyway, so I learned a lot from her. Then I had several classes at Baylor. But in between all that, I started teaching. Well, I guess it was my last semester at Baylor, or the summer before my last semester at Baylor.
Right.
I started volunteering in our ESL program at church that we had at the time.
Okay, got you.
And that, you're probably thinking, where the hell is he going with this story? There's a point to all this.
I'm like in tune with you.
Okay, good.
I promise. Yeah, you're good. Right. Yeah, Sean, don't overthink about being here.
Oh, okay.
All right. I invited. You're good. I promise.
I appreciate it.
We love Sean. Okay. Yeah.
So I was volunteering in our ESL program.
Yeah.
And let me back up a little bit further than that. My first job when I was 14, I started working at Lions Park.
Okay.
Which I don't advocate lying, but I told the best lie I could ever tell there. My dad was in the Lions Club, so I don't want to say he got me the job, but yeah, he pretty much got me the job.
Okay, got you.
So I went on that Saturday.
Yeah.
This was in '88. I hadn't turned 15 yet.
Got you.
And a girl named Kim Spitzer. She's Kim Adams now. She's married, and some of us still get together. But anyway,
yeah.
She took me around to the place. Well, I'm actually a shy, reserved, timid forest librarian. Yeah, so she took me around and went back up, and Shirley, the manager, said, "What do you think?" And what I really wanted to say was, "This is scary, and I can't do this."
Okay, got you.
But I lied and said I like it, and it was the best lie I could ever tell because the park truly opened up. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
Not all of it I can tell publicly, but anyway, I learned a lot.
Yes, you can. We'll keep it between us, Sean.
Right.
Only the people watching will know.
Yes. However many thousands
on the internet.
Yes. I learned a lot, met a lot of wonderful people, interacted with a huge, diverse group of people, customers and coworkers.
Got you.
Anyway, in all that, I connected with one of my coworkers. His name was Oscar Arroyo. He grew up in South Waco. He's in Austin now.
Yeah.
But I got to know him and his family.
Gotcha.
They're from Mexico. And so I could practice Spanish with them. I could make mistakes. They would laugh at me. I would laugh at me. It was all good.
That's cool, yeah.
But so then teaching ESL at church helped me more. And I'd been curious about volunteering at the high school. One of the teachers up there at church also taught at the high school, at University High School. Yeah. And I thought about asking her if I could go up and volunteer with her just to learn more. Well, before I ever said anything to her, she said something to me about it. And so I walked in there one day and it sucked me in and I never left, so to speak. So, yeah, I mean, so the first year or so, again, 96 into 97, it was just the ESL part. And I love ESL. I met some wonderful people.
And that's when you were volunteering at university?
Yes.
Right? At 96, okay.
Yes.
Because I was in kindergarten.
Okay. That's fine. It is what it is. I mean, I've got kids of former students now.
Yeah, you're good, yeah.
But it's not so true now, but back then, it seemed that a lot of the guys, I don't think UHS had a girls team yet.
Okay.
But a lot of the guys, it's kind of like a joke or to me anyway, if you were in ESL, you played soccer.
Oh, okay, got you.
And so that's kind of how I got into the soccer part of it is, if you want to interact with people and you want to help someone, you kind of have to be where they are within reason.
Okay.
And not necessarily that year or even the next year, but probably by 98, I was starting to go freeze my whatever off at soccer games during soccer season and really just fell in love with it. I mean, I don't sit at home and watch soccer.
Right, same. Yeah.
But, I enjoy going to the games and watching people who I know play.
Yeah, totally.
So that's where that connection came from. But again, the reason I made that comment the other day is truly, Andrew, it goes back to a decision I made when I was 14. I had no clue that deciding maybe I really want to actually try to learn some Spanish would lead me to sitting here with you right now. But actually, that is why it happened.
Isn't that so great? It's like in a divine intervention. My friend Haciel Trevino said that.
Well, Haciel's a good Christian man. I haven't seen him in quite a while, but he's a really good guy.
He's doing good. He was on this show. I don't know if you watched that episode. It's my second favorite episode.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's really, and I mean like high second favorite episode. Yeah, very good guy. So in terms of being involved with my peers, right? And so when we think of South Waco, especially maybe back in, let me take 2005, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. Well, because that's when I graduated in 09. Okay. And so, we're thinking, and I didn't grow up here in Waco. I only went to Midway during my adolescent years. So I was like, I'm not really in tune. For the most part, I would say that, you were pretty much involved with, like, I would say inner city kids for the most part. What was the importance to you at the time? I mean, so you're learning Spanish, right? And then you're getting involved with their sport, which is soccer or whatever the case is. And so why was it important for you to be involved in their life so much? Because it seems like you've made really big impact with a lot of people here in town. Well, a lot of my peers at the very least.
The most basic answer to start out with is I have no clue. And I truly don't. I don't know why. I mean, not so much now, but back then, after events or after games or whatever, if they needed rides home, I'd give them a ride home. I mean, I'm not out to molest anyone, so I just give them a ride home, and they knew that.
Yeah.
So, I would get to know them. I would get to know their brothers and sisters and cousins and girlfriends and their parents. And it was a world I would never imagine being able to be a part of. You go drop them off and pick them up to take them to a game or whatever, and come in to eat with us or whatever, things like that, or come to this event or come to this quinte or come to this boda or this baile or this whatever. I don't dance, but I enjoy going and listening to the music and all. Did
you realize at the time how much of an impact it was? I mean, maybe they didn't have that ride. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't have like, that safety net or source of comfort at home that they could rely on you for. Did you realize at the time back then what you were doing, or were you just being good old hearted Sean?
I'm not sure that I really had a clue. I had so much to learn when I started volunteering there. In fact, I was thinking about this again this morning, that I remember some students commenting that the only reason they went to school was to play soccer. And that was so foreign to me. And I really I've had to adjust my thinking on that.
Okay.
And eventually it went from, well, that's not right, to,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, if it gets you to school, so be it.
Yeah. Well, for most people, I would say it was maybe even an escapism. You know what I mean? Like,
Well,
so when
could be.
we're thinking of an area like maybe North South Waco, whatever the case is, didn't always have the best reputation, maybe versus 2024
Right
now. You know what I mean? And so, you know, for them, it's just like, if this is what I have to do to stay out the streets, for that matter, this is what I'm doing. You know what I mean? But then for some reason, you get involved. You know what I mean? And then so you make this attempt to really just kind of bond with these, I call them kids, but we're adults now.
Y'all are all still kids to me. I'm 50.
Yeah. You know? Listen, well, you know, a lot of them might have had trust issues though, too. You know what I mean? A lot of them might have been really resistant to adults, you know, like you just mentioned, maybe going back to where he says, I'm only going to school to play soccer, which means they might defy authority. You know what I mean? So what did you do? I mean, how did you relate to them that just made them be like, oh, but I can like latch on to Sean. I can trust Sean. I can be with Sean. I can let Sean take me home. I can invite Sean to my quinceañera, whatever the case is.
I don't want to put too much emphasis on the language, but it could have been that.
Okay.
I've personally, and it would be interesting to know from some of them, but I feel like that was probably part of it because I could interact with them and their family, and they were certainly helping me.
Sure.
I know that for a fact. So
when
that
you say
could have
that,
been.
how?
When I say what?
They're helping you, how?
Helping me learn.
No, the language. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Got you. Okay. Yeah.
Helping me learn, and yeah, I mean I think that was maybe a lot of it, to be honest with you.
When I think of you, or when I thought of you, like in the last few years that we've known each other, or known of each other, I should say, because we never really like had to sit down and have coffee, which we should. You know, I think of the Aaron Gruel story, where that was portrayed in Freedom Writers, where she's the teacher teaching the inner city kids, and then, you know, she was getting a lot of backlash from her peers. You know what I mean? Would you say that you got a lot of backlash from your peers for trying to relate so hard with, you know, these kids or anything, or would you say it was more praise?
No, but I don't think most people knew what I was doing. My parents did, and I think they were probably a little befuddled. Not that they were opposed.
Sure.
I mean, thankfully, my parents didn't raise me up in some KKK backwards attitude thinking home.
Sure, yeah.
Because you and I wouldn't be talking right now, for example.
Exactly.
But I don't think they completely understood it, and I probably wouldn't have either had the roles been reversed.
Yeah.
But no, I don't remember experiencing that at all. But I didn't say a whole lot about it. I just did my thing. But I think it concerns me in a sense. I would never want someone to think that. So when I talk to my manager sometimes about things at the library, I say, you know, one of the joys of working in a public library is we're part of the community.
Yeah.
And I think it's always important for us to remember, and I said this in so many words, every so often I have to get toilet paper. Yeah. Every day I have to put on deodorant. I'm no better than anyone else.
Gotcha.
I'm absolutely no better. So it's not that I'm someone special. I don't want anyone to think that I think my whatever doesn't stink.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what drew me to this and what's kept me into it, but, you know, as I told some people last year, you couldn't pay me anything for my memories. I would never give back anything. I mean, it hadn't always been pretty. I've been to funerals. Sure. I haven't always gotten it right. I still don't always get it right.
Yeah, totally. There's
lots of things I would like to redo, but I wouldn't take anything for the memories. Yeah. So I didn't set out, and I still don't care, I guess you could say, about being, you know, all that or whatever.
Sure.
I'm going to say this, and it's going to make it sound like I'm some maybe great wise person, but I'm not.
No, do it, please.
And this is not even an original thought, but I guess a lot of this is developed over time. It seems that there are people who think that your success or someone else's success because they look different is a threat. And I don't understand that, because as a Christian, as an American, as a taxpayer, shouldn't I want you to be successful? Shouldn't I want every kid in South Waco and North Waco and East Waco and West Waco to be successful?
Right.
And I don't mean material possessions, but I mean get an education and become the man and the woman that God created them to be. What's so hard about that?
What's wrong with that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So to the extent that I contributed to that, that's great. But I'm not the only one, because people want to, sometimes I say people as though everyone, I don't mean everyone, but there are people who want to hate on public school teachers, for example, or public schools as being godless institutions.
Uh-huh.
Well, I know good and well from conversations with teachers at UHS, for example,
Sure.
there are plenty of them who are very devout Christians, and they take their faith with them to school.
Yeah.
They don't broadcast it, obviously, because they can't.
Right.
But influences who they are and what they do.
Got you.
So why shouldn't I do my part to make someone's life a little bit better any way that I possibly can?
Exactly.
Because may sound cynical, but you and I are paying for their education. Mm-hmm. If they go to prison, we pay for that too.
Right.
So what do I really want my taxes to go for?
Something more.
What do you want your taxes to go for?
Yeah, definitely. Sean, that's very powerful words. and that sticks with me. The comment about the memory and all that. I like that you said that, Sean, gosh, I love where this is going. Okay, we got to take a quick little break. When we get back, I want to know a little bit more about your personal life, more about some of the peers that you may have inspired in our circle that may have either went down the right path or the wrong path, and what your feelings are about that. So when you guys stay tuned. When we get back, we're going to have more with Mr. Sean Sutcliffe here on The Public Affair. Thank you guys again so much for watching. They rent dump trailers, you fill it up, and they haul it away. That's why they're also doing junk removals and tree brush removals and hauling cars in and out of town. If your car breaks down, you need a tow, give him a call. He'll be right there, all right? Listen, he's also offering dumpster services as well. Mobile dumpster service, perfect for those big get-togethers, those quinceañeras, those big Mexican parties that y'all like to have, all right? That way there's no beer bottles, no nothing on the floor. Just get the dumpster, okay? Book now the number on the screen of Banda's Hauling Service. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Ociel Penguin Benitez with Funtown RV, the best in RV sales. Listen, Penguin is working overtime and more to make sure you and your family are situated and settled in an RV best suited for you. It is springtime. Summertime will be right around the corner. It is camping season. Get you a toy hauler, travel trailer, fifth wheel, and more with Penguin. Se habla español también. Follow Penguin's cool RV deal and tips on Facebook. To Ociel, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my girl, Myra Rosales, with Strike a Pose Photography, a digital photo booth business, perfect for parties, private events, corporate events, and so much more. Do not have any event, and you don't take no pictures, no memories, no nothing, all right? It's fun, it's convenient, and it's super easy. Call now and book with the number on the screen. Follow on Facebook at Strike a Pose Photo Booth. To Myra Rosales, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. And of course, I'm going to give a big shout out to my boy Joseph Blancas with JB Auto Detailing, who provides mobile detailing for all of Waco and the surrounding area, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed, leaving your vehicle looking brand spanking new and fresh. Cold weather's out. It's going to be sunny. We probably won't get rain for another 6 months, okay? Get your car washed, get it detailed, make it look brand spanking new with Joseph Blancas. Pricing is such at jbautodetailing.net, and call the number on the screen to book. Follow on Facebook as well to Joseph Blancas. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. All right, guys, we are back now with the legend himself, Mr. Sean Sutcliffe. I just like saying that because, again, all of my friends just like love you. It's like the Father, Son, Holy Ghost, Sean. And so, you know what I mean, to them. And so, well, I appreciate you being here too. Thank you so much.
It is an honor. I appreciate it.
No, it's an honor having you. You don't understand. Nice. I love 8 a.m. recordings. All right. Then we have the whole rest of the day. Whatever. Listen, before we get back into, the impact that you've had on my friends' lives, can we talk a little, like, are you married, Sean? No kids, no nothing?
I always said that, well, let me go back and say my parents married in 1962.
Okay.
And for whatever reason, that's neither here nor there to me, mom wasn't getting pregnant. So in theory, my sister and I should be like well into our 50s, even closer to 60.
Yeah.
But my parents were in the process of adopting, and they were told, and I believe it, that like 50% of people who were in the process, or back then, the process
Sure.
of adopting will get pregnant.
Okay.
So sister was born in 1971. I was born in 1973. My parents were in their early mid-30s when we were born.
Sure.
Not a big deal, but I told myself that if I had kids, I wanted to have them before I was 30, or by the time I was 30.
Okay.
But I fell in love with work instead of a woman.
Oh, see.
And so I never got married at all.
Okay.
And without, going into a great psychological profile of me, there were self-esteem issues, I would say, that I didn't, I think that got in the way.
Really?
Yeah, I was thinking the other day about the first girl I was interested in. She and I worked together at Lions Park.
Okay.
and she lived out in Bosqueville. I'll say her first name was Amy.
Hey, Amy.
And
he's still in the market, Amy. Girl, you better come over here. He's famous now. He was on the show.
I don't know what's become of her, but anyway, she was
a shot. Okay, Sean.
Yep. She was a really pretty country girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think again, without trying to do a psychological profile, I always thought, why would she be interested in me?
Okay.
So anyway, work was my escape. Work was my everything, and that's what I got into. And I'm not saying it was the right way, wrong, whatever.
Sure.
What works for some people doesn't work for others. And
do you think it's too late for you?
No, I can tell you what I'm not going to be. I'm not going to be a 50-year-old dad.
Really?
No, hell no. No.
Some people have kids in their 50s and 60s.
That's their business.
Yeah, Robert
that's
De Niro.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not me. But as far as marriage, what I think about now as I get older, and it doesn't even require marriage, but it's a matter of, I said I'm not a social person, but
right.
At the same time, I think as you get older, you think about having someone to spend the rest of your life with.
Okay.
And so that's important because there are places that you can go with certain people that you can't go with other people.
I got you.
So I think about that, but
sure.
I'm still too involved in work and volunteering.
You know what, but Sean, listen, that's great that you're into work, and I'm happy that you're married. I'm married to my job too. That's why I'm still single. Okay. Yeah. But there's still time. So is Sean on the market? Can a woman slide in your DMs right now and then take you on a date?
I think she'd be wasting her time.
No way. Come on.
I do.
You're the total package in 2024. They don't make the men like they make you anymore. They don't.
I don't know.
All the women, the women want a man like you in their life, Sean, okay?
Well,
there's still time. There's that 50-year-old woman out there whose man has slept around her several times, and she needs you to come save her and whisk her off her feet. Okay.
I would say this, that you can't force things.
Oh, you're right.
And I can somewhat speak from experience without going into detail. So, you just can't force that kind of stuff.
I got you.
If it's meant to be, it'll be. But I think back to, I know Paul wrote it in the Corinthians, and I believe elsewhere that, not everyone's meant to be married. If you're married, great, but he was referring to men back because of those times.
Okay.
But not every man is meant to get married. And if you're not, that's fine. Just dedicate yourself to what you're supposed to be doing.
I got you.
So.
Well, you know what? Listen, if that works for you, if anybody who can snatch you up is very lucky, Sean. You should know that, okay? Yes.
I appreciate it.
Yes. No, listen, okay, so back to what we were talking about before the break. We were talking about, the influence that you made in a lot of like younger guys' lives or people's lives for that matter. Was there one person that may have stuck out to you? Like, I know that you said that you were just helping people because that's just what you were doing. There was no intent. Obviously, there was no malintent, and so was there ever one person or a situation for that matter in particular that sticks to you that you may have helped somebody through or maybe couldn't help somebody through for that matter?
It's been so many years. I don't, and I almost hate to think of anyone because I'm afraid I'll offend someone by leaving someone out. And part of it is after 27 years, if I see someone, I have to sometimes say, "Now, what year did you graduate?" Okay. Because I don't remember. There've been so many over the years. So sitting here right now, later tonight, I'll think about something probably, but
we'll put it in the end credits.
Right? Yeah. P.S.
Yeah.
Right now, I can't readily think of anything. I don't know. I mean, it just makes me happy whenever I reconnect with a former student. There's some who, at the alumni game at UHS, I even say who it is. It was Margarito Lopez. I hadn't seen him. He graduated in 2011. Sure. I don't think I've seen him since he graduated.
Really?
So it made me really happy to see him and reconnect with him. He seems to be doing really well. So there's surprises like that, but then there's people I see on a regular basis, and that makes me happy. Yeah. So, again, not because of anything I did. That's not my point in saying that.
Sure.
It's just, you're doing okay.
Well, you just made a connection with these people. And a connection, can work all kinds of ways. You know what I mean? And so obviously, like, you love these people and you care about these people and you want to see them do well.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And I applaud that about you. So with that being said, then we're talking about back in the early 2000s. We're talking about the 90s. Was there ever a situation maybe where you felt like you had to constantly be defending a student? Maybe like another peer of yours is saying like, why do you keep associating with like this particular kid if all he does is get in trouble. You know what I mean?
I can't readily think of one.
Mm-hmm.
I know one hard thing, and I'm sure this is true for anyone who works with young people, is you see someone who just seems to constantly be making some boneheaded decisions that are going to be, that are self-destructive.
Sure.
And we all do self-destruct. And I have my own demons. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when you see someone who keeps, you just think, this is not helpful.
Sure.
This is not going to help you become the man you were born to be. Or in the case of the girls, the woman. It doesn't matter who. That can be very frustrating. And I guess sometimes you just have to step back and say, I love you and I care about you, and I want to keep encouraging you and maintain that contact. But I don't know what else to do for you right now.
Exactly. Well, it's called loving from a distance. And that's the hardest thing to do.
Yes.
That's the hardest thing to do for sure. And then while you obviously have made like this quintessential impact in these people's lives, right? And so I wonder, you mentioned, you talk a lot in the interview about like mental health and the demons that you battle and stuff like that. And maybe while these people are confiding in you and, finding a source of like a safety net for that matter, what about for Sean? Was there anybody that you were able to ever confide in, talk to about maybe some of the things that you were going through mentally?
When I was their age, or are you talking about
just even in general, like even now?
No, not that readily comes to my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and I'm no expert on this, I have an addictive personality. So I could, people can become addicted to anything, whether it's porn, food, drugs, alcohol, cell phones, video games, anything like that. So that's among the reasons why I don't drink alcohol, besides the fact that I pretty much drive everywhere I go. But
good thing I didn't offer you any mimosas this morning.
Well, I would have thanked you and politely declined.
But yeah,
so
I have to work up to this too. They would have been so mad at me. Okay.
Right.
Marla would have been like, "What are you doing?"
Right. It might have been more interesting, but
done that before.
Oh.
Once.
Right.
I'll admit it once.
But
twice.
But I feel like, I don't even know this is a matter of talking to anyone about it. It's more a matter of the people you interact with should help you be a better person.
Agreed.
And so if I've been of any benefit to any student I've ever interacted with, that's great. Mm-hmm. What I can definitely tell you is that the people, and it's not just students, it's their families, it's the teachers, it's, a variety of people I've met over the years.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell you they've helped me.
Okay.
And not necessarily in even any specific ways, but be it acceptance, be it just keeping me occupied.
Yeah.
And, the stereotype, if I may go there, of Hispanics is they just live in the moment, right? They don't think forward, which, stereotypes are unfair, period, no matter who it is.
I agree.
I tend to, I'm one of those people who, if there's not a crisis, I can create one. So I tend to think too much, not because I'm smart, but because I start thinking too much down the road, or overthinking. I'm the same way,
Sean. Yeah,
right.
I'm the same way. I hate it.
So, but I mean, some of the students I've interacted with have helped ground me in that moment, so that I can try to appreciate that moment right there.
Sure.
It's still a struggle, but I mean, that's been helpful for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, I mean, for sure. Well, yeah, it sounds to me like, listen, I mean, I try to just like relate with you,
mm-hmm.
In terms like I'm single too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I live alone. And so, we have a lot of time to think and we're both overthinkers. And then, and fortunately in that time in our solace or whatever, you may start overthinking about what you could have done different. And then you start beating yourself up. And, we have to have people to talk to like that. And I reference my two best friends who I actually call my brothers, Jaime and Mauro. And, they are that mm-hmm. cushion for me. They're that safety net. They're the ones that beat me up when I'm overthinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And who have, again, I reference them because they've had nothing but the highest praise in regards to you. And so I was just wondering, maybe you deal with the same thing as well, or maybe I'm just like overthinking.
No, I guess maybe I feel like as long as I'm being active in something that keeps me focused, whether it's school, whether it's at a game.
Sure.
Whether it's at church, whether it's being out walking, whether it's being at the library. Although I will admit, maybe I should admit this, that there are times when I'm staring at the computer screen, doing what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, but my mind is maybe elsewhere.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm doing that is helpful to me.
I got you.
Specifically, for example, when my dad was in the hospital. Well, that's a long story by itself, but he spent his last 6 weeks of life in ICU in Temple.
Okay. So
going back and forth, trying to, stay at work, stuff like that. Staring at a computer screen can kind of help you. You're doing something, but you're also zoned out at the same time.
For sure.
But at the same time, that still kind of helped me stay grounded.
I got you. Okay.
But anyway, I'm probably drifting off into whole nother
No, you're
conversation.
good. But you have your methods of just, I guess, keeping yourself together for the most part.
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I just kind of backpedaling to the soccer a little bit, right? Like I listen, I told you I sponsored those soccer teams. Okay. I hate going to the soccer games. I do. I hate going to the soccer games because things get really thick, right? Like people get very aggressive, and I'm not an aggressive person. You know what I mean? Like, what's going through your mind when you see that? I mean, you see a lot of the people that you essentially helped raise, you know what I mean? Which is great. They're still staying active. They're still playing, whatever. But, everybody gets really, really like confrontational, right? And you don't strike me as a confrontational person. What goes through your mind? Because I know I get scared. Like Marl's wife, like still like yell. So I like, stop yelling. You know what I mean? It's gonna cause conflict. And so what's going through your mind when something like that's happening? That's just a fun topic.
Well, see, there's two. There's more than two platforms, I guess, because most of the games I go to are high school. Yeah. So I've been to hundreds of JV and varsity soccer games in the past 20-something years, and you always have your mouthy people, but it's nothing much.
Do you get mouthy, Sean? Are you one of those?
I don't.
I don't. Yeah, I'm scared.
I may, whoever I'm standing with, we'll be talking about the game, but I'm not.
You're not yelling. And
I think one of the most important things that I have to remember, for me personally, at a soccer game, we all want to win. Yeah. But wins and losses come and go. Mm-hmm. But God willing, after that game, I'm going to go home, get ready for bed, sit down and read for a while, and the next morning wake up and go to work. Okay. And I can't get my calzones in a wad over a soccer game. Sure. Because life is bigger than that.
It just moves on.
It has to.
It has to move on.
It absolutely has to.
I agree.
Now, another, and maybe this is what you're talking about, are games out at the lake, for example, adult leagues. Yeah. I'll say something that's probably not going to make me very popular, but I don't care.
No, it's okay.
I've been to some of those, and I understand that you get in the moment and you want to win. And of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But oh my word, I swear to you, Andrew, there are probably no MLS scouts out there. There are no college coaches looking to offer someone a scholarship.
Yeah, they're so competitive.
I mean, I understand you want to win, but come on, peeps. You've seen it. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's why I stopped going. I'll go sporadically, right? But it's like I get the competitive nature, right? It's a very competitive sport, which I appreciate, right? I think in anything that you do, like even in podcasts, while I'm rooting for everybody, it's still a competitive nature. Yes. They say I'm the best, and I've talked tomorrow about it. I have to stay the best. How do I stay the best? And he's like, you're never going to be the best, but in a humbling way, you know what I mean? Like, don't ever look at yourself as above anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And so, but I guess I never looked at it in your perspective, like at the adult leagues and stuff like that. Yeah, they're really competitive, and then fist fights and
I just don't agree with that, but I think it's great that it's an option. Sure. And
but irregardless too, like even at our age, it's really what I appreciate about them playing is that it's still something productive. Even if you're out there drinking a 12-pack, right? Like that, like I used to do to get through it. Like you're still out there running, you're still out there, sportsmanship. And it's funny, like I even had, when I had Hazel on the show, who we just, devout Christian man, right? He'd be out there fighting too, and so it takes you in that moment. And then afterwards, they're all best friends again. You know what I mean? It's hugs and kisses. And okay, that was cool. I'm sorry I punched you in the face and broke your nose, but we're still boys. You know what I mean? So it's just like a weird dynamic. I appreciate it. It's just not my scene. Right. I'm scary.
And it's interesting you say that because I don't know.
I think it's just the sport. I think it could be for any sport though. Don't you agree? Like
Yeah, I'm sure that's true, and you know the women are not exempt from that either. I'm
Oh,
sure.
yeah, for sure.
But I haven't been to any of the games out there probably in several years.
Let's
but
go together.
well, I need to go out there.
Yeah, I'll pick you up. We'll go together.
Because it's, I mean, I really, you know, it's good. That's a way for me to reconnect with people.
It is at the end of the day, you know, and maybe they'll act right if they see you there. So
highly unlikely.
No, I got you. Sean, listen, and irregardless, like I said, big shout out to all of them because I, you know, for whatever reason, our lives have intertwined with soccer, you know, and, you know, we like, again, Soko Soccer Academy, I hold like at the highest regards. They've helped me change my life. I love how you mentioned earlier that they help change your mentality or, you know, help your mentality, period.
Mm-hmm.
Like, physically and mentally, they've helped me as well. So big shout out to Soko Soccer Academy. God, I've loved having you on the show. I think this has just been such a great experience. What can you leave us with, Sean? I mean, so you're at the library, you still reconnect with your peers. A lot of my peers still love you. They're gonna see that I announced you on the show. They're gonna be so excited, like, oh my God. What can you say to anybody that's watching that you've helped, I mean, that you were involved in their lives back in the day? What can you say to them? Any messages of hope or anything like that? Encouragement, anything like that?
Oh, I would say that this is what I would say to anyone over and over and over again, whomever I've known in the past. I don't really think that people whom I've met, and I'm speaking specifically, this could be true even with people I interact with at the library, but within the confines of like university, high school, and soccer, and even, I mean, through soccer, I've met students from Waco High. I'm not prejudiced. I don't get all worked up about the rivalries. But anyone whom I've ever met in that context, I don't think they truly understand what a difference they made in my life. You know, I don't know why I ended up there and why I've gotten so involved, I guess you could say, in the lives of these Hispanic kids.
Sure.
I have not the slightest clue. It just feels right.
Yeah.
They put up with me.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's no understatement that they've made a huge difference in my life.
Gotcha.
And I think they underestimate that. So I guess I would say to anyone, don't underestimate the difference you can make in someone else's life. You know, as a Christian, I think it's, you know, we should uplift each other, not knock each other down. So to the extent that I've done that for someone else, that makes me happy. But I can guarantee you other people have done that for me, and they should be proud of themselves.
That's beautiful. And it's always the people you least expect to. Like, right. Yeah. Like, anyway, gosh, Sean, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really did have a good time getting to know you. Now I see why a lot of my friends, remember, I didn't grow up with them. You know what I mean? So now I see why all of them hold you in such high regard. Now I see why my brothers were just singing your praises. Like, thank God you had this guy in the public. You know what I mean? And so I just think that whatever you're doing, whether you know it or not, just keep doing it. I'm always rooting for you. You guys can catch Sean at the Waco Library, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, even the people that are still my age, they can still come to you, you know, if they're feeling any doubts or anything like that, right?
Absolutely.
Perfect. And then listen, if there's any women out there that want to slide in Sean's DMs, go ahead and do so, okay? He needs to be womaned up. Okay. Right. Yeah, okay. Well, Sean, thank you so much again. It was such a pleasure and an honor having you on the show. Truly, truly means the world to me. And I want you to know that it means more to me than it does to you that you were on the show. So,
well, maybe not. It's an honor to be asked. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you so
Hopefully
much.
I didn't screw up your ratings, but
no, please. We don't worry about the ratings anymore.
Good.
Remember I just told you? Yeah. We just we do it because we love it. Okay, that's it. Yeah, screw the ratings. Okay? Right. Listen, thank you guys again so much for tuning into this episode of The Public Affair, the Sean Sutcliffe. Thank you so. Oh yeah, no, I wanted you to tell them in Spanish and stuff because you did speak Spanish. You're Caucasian and you learned Spanish. 4 years of Spanish.
Tell them what?
Whatever you said before. How much of an impact they made in your life.
Oh man, you're gonna make me think I'm gonna screw this up. Any other day of the week I could think this up.
My friend Joe Bonnie said you speak more Spanish than him.
Which one? Hernandez?
Hernandez.
Oh, sure. I'm really proud of him.
He's so great.
Yes.
He's so great.
But that's just it. Me han hecho feliz. Estoy muy orgulloso de ellos. Ha sido un placer conocer a todos ellos, a los estudiantes, a sus familias, parientes, todos. Es difícil explicar bien, describir en pocas palabras el impacto que ellos han tenido en mi vida.
Muchas gracias por eso.
Igualmente.
Yeah, you can think I'm in the okay. And thank you so much again for everybody that tuned in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sean and Sutcliffe. I appreciate you, and it's so nice to meet you. Now, before we go, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. I have a lot of sponsors, right? It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
No, it's a good thing.
I love it so much. Of course, the J Pedal and Poke with Junior Fuentes, Thomas Roberts, and I love J Pedal. I had J Pedal last night. I roll around J Pedal at least 3 times a week. I love J Pedal. They provide delicious, savory Japanese crepes and poke bowls. They also have handcrafted Thai rolled ice cream for dessert. You could choose from a menu item or just create your own, like I like to do. Just download the J Pedal app. Go on there. It's like a Subway, but it's better. All right, J Pedal and Poke. You can order online as well. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, the Elite Barbershop with my boy Sid Rodriguez, located on Hewitt Drive. You can call the number on the screen to book or download the Squire app. Walk-ins are welcome as well. He has Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, Isai Reyes, and Sam Ceballos, and Kyle Berry over there making you look as snackish as I have for almost 200 episodes of The Public Affair. Oof, I'm almost on 200. What am I going to do? I need to have a party, right? He cut my hair today. Thank you so much to Sid Rodriguez. I totally appreciate you. And of course, to Jeffrey Monreal with Boyo Box and Audio Home for all your LED needs and audio accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and so much more. Your one-stop shop to get everything done in one roof. I've had all my tent work, all my starlight work, any car modification I've ever got. Jeffrey Monreal with Boyo Box and Audio has completely done it. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. To all of you, thank you again so much for tuning in. I've got more on the way to Sean Sutcliffe. Always the highest regards and warm welcome to you here on The Public Affair. And we truly appreciate you being here. And you guys don't forget to always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.